this is Jo from Maths Tutor Me. Today we're going to be doing some revision questions on our fractions topic. So it's just a question or two from each of the lessons that we've been learning about on fractions. So you can download these worksheets from my website, and print them off and try all these questions on your own, and then you can watch my video to see the answers, to see how you've done. Or if you feel like you need the extra help, you can just work along with me as I go through them now. Okay, so for question number 1, it says colour 5/8 of the shape below. Well, if they're 8s, hopefully we have 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We do have 8. So that means we need to colour in 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any 5 that you like. Okay, question 2, we want to complete the equivalent fractions. So we have 4/7 is equal to something over 28. So we need to work out what we're multiplying by to get to 28. 7 times 4 gives us 28. So we need to multiply the 4 by 4 to find our missing number of 16. For question 3, we want to write 30/55 in simplest form. Now, to simplify a fraction, we want to divide both the top and the bottom of the fraction by the same number. Now, 30 and 55 can both be divided by 5. If I divide 30 by 5, I get 6. If I divide 55 by 5, I get 11. And that is the simplest that we can make it, because 11 is a prime number. It's not going to be able to be made any smaller. So that's my answer. For question 4, we want to write 2 3/5 as an improper fraction. So the 5 on the denominator is going to stay on the denominator. To work out the numerator, we multiply the 5 with the 2, which is 10, and then we add on the top number, which is 3. So this was 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. So 2 3/5 is the same as 13/5 as an improper fraction. Question 5, going in the opposite direction, we have the improper fraction. We want to write it as a mixed numeral. So we want to work out how many times 3 can go into 16. So knowing your 3 times tables, you would know that 3 5s are 15. Okay, so that means that we can get 5 lots of 3 out of there, which would take us to 15, and then there'd be 1 more left over out of the 3. For question 6, we want to write these numbers here, these fractions, in ascending order. To do that, we want to write them with a common denominator. So firstly, let's write them as improper fractions. For those of them that aren't, the first one's fine, so it's 7/2. This one, 16 times 2 is 32, plus another 7 is 39. This one's already an improper fraction. And the last one, 4 on the bottom, 4 times 1 is 4, plus another 1 is 5. Okay, now we want the common denominator. So all these numbers can all be written with a base of 16. Okay, so for the first fraction, I might just write 16s down here for all of them. We're going to change all of them to be out of 16. There we go. So this fraction has to be times by 8 to get to 16. So I need to multiply 7 by 8, which gives me 56. This fraction, I'm not changing at all. This one, 8, I'd have to multiply that by 2. So multiply the top by 2 would be 30. 4, I have to multiply by another 4 to get to 16. So 5 times 4 is 20. Now that they all have the same denominator, it's easy to see which is the smallest and which are the biggest. The smallest number is this one here, 20 out of 16, because it has the smallest numerator. So that means that the 1 1/4 was the smallest fraction. The next one was this one, 30, which is 15 out of 8. 39 is the next smallest, which is 2 and 7/16. And the biggest was this one, 56 out of 16, which is the 7/2. Okay, so that's the answer there in ascending order. In question 7, we are doing some addition of fractions. To do that, we need a common denominator. 9 and 6, the smallest denominator that we can get is 18. So let's make 2 fractions with 18 on the bottom. I would need to multiply this by 2 to get to 18, so multiply the top by 2 is 2. 6 times 3 is 18, so multiply this by 3 to get 15. Now that the denominator is the same, we can add the tops together. 2 plus 15 is 17/18. Okay, there's still some more questions on the next page. Okay, so for B, we want to do some subtracting now, but we have some mixed numerals. So first of all, let's change them into improper fractions. 4 stays on the bottom. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Minus 5 stays on the bottom. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. Now we need the common denominator. So 5 and 4, my denominator will be 20. This needs to be multiplied by 5 to get 20. Multiplying 13 by 5, we get 65. Now, this fraction has been multiplied by 4. Okay, so multiplying 13 by 4, we're going to get 52. Now we can subtract the numerators. 65 minus 52 is 13 out of 20. Part C, we are dividing. Now, to do a divide, we write the first fraction down. We change the divide into a times, but we have to turn the second fraction upside down. Then we look for cancelling, but there isn't any cancelling in this one. So we multiply the tops together. 3 times 2 is 6, and 7 times 1 is 7. So 6/7 is the answer. For D, we're multiplying, but before we do that, we have to change these into improper fractions. The 3 needs to stay on the bottom. 2 3s are 6, adding those on, so 7 8. Times by 6 stays on the bottom, so 6 times 1 is 6, plus 5 is 11. Now this time we can cancel the 8 and the 6, can both be divided by 2 to get a 4 and a 3. Now multiplying, 4 times 11 is 44, and 3 times 3 is 9. To change that back into a mixed numeral, we want to see how many 9s can fit into this 44. So thinking of your 9 times tables, 9 4s are 36, 9 5s are 45, which is a little bit too big. So we can only go 4 times, which is to 36, which will give us a remainder of 8 out of 9. And E's, where we're combining a few of our things together here. We've got multiplication, subtraction, and division. So we have to do order of operations. Now, the order of operations says you do brackets of first, but we don't have either of those. Then multiplying and dividing. We have both of those. So if we have both of them, we have to do them from left to right. So that means we do this multiplication first before the division. So multiplying first, I can cancel the 2's to give me 1's there. 1 times 1 is 1 over 5 times 1, which is 5. Now I'm just going to write minus 2 over 3. We're going to do the divide next, so let's change it into a times, which means we need to turn this upside down. So because there's no number there, it would be over 1. So turning that upside down would be a quarter. Now we need to do this multiplication next. So the 1/5 stays at the front, minus. Now we can cancel. These can divide by 2 to get a 1 and a 2. 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 2 is 6. So all that's left to do is the subtraction, and to do that we need a common denominator. Now for 5 and 6, the denominator will be 30. So this fraction is to be multiplied by 6. So 1 times 6 is 6. This fraction is to be multiplied by 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. And 6 minus 5 is 1 out of 30. All right, there's a lot of hard work in there. Hopefully you get that answer. So that's the end of our little revision exercise today. Keep practicing. If there's questions in there that you found difficult, you can go back and review the videos from earlier. You could specifically look at the mixed operations one, the order of operations activity, or whatever it is that you're having trouble with, you can go and practice some more. Otherwise, if you're finding this fairly straightforward, then you can join me next time for my challenge exercises. Okay, bye.